NCIS Naval Criminal Investigative Service 2003 redefined television drama, but the real-life drama began when the cameras stopped rolling. 20 years have slipped away, leaving behind a trail of hidden struggles, massive triumphs, and some truly unrecognizable transformations. Join us as we journey back to where it all began and uncover the then and now stories that prove life is often more complicated than a crime scene. Zac Efron as Daniel Austin. Born on October 18, 1987 in San Luis Obispo, California, the aspiring actor took on a dramatic guest spot just moments before his career skyrocketed into the global stratosphere. At the age of 18, Efron portrayed Daniel Austin in the Season 3 episode titled Deception, playing a teenager who brings a gun to a Navy base in a desperate and misguided attempt to protect a friend. While it was a brief appearance, his performance displayed a raw vulnerability and dramatic capability that predated the phenomenon of High School Musical, offering a quiet glimpse of his range long before he became the face of a Disney franchise. The contrast between his troubled, serious character on NCIS and the singing basketball captain Troy Bolton he played shortly after defined the trajectory of his early adulthood. Efron spent years battling the constraints of being typecast as a teen idol, working tirelessly to prove his mettle as a serious dramatic actor against a backdrop of immense paparazzi scrutiny. His journey was not without personal hurdles. He faced the intense pressure of growing up in the public eye, navigating struggles with sobriety, and a severe jaw injury that required extensive reconstruction. These challenges forced him to evolve, pushing him to take on gritty roles like serial killer Ted Bundy and bulked-up wrestlers to shatter the polished image the industry had created for him. His persistence paid off as he successfully transitioned into a respected leading man known for both raunchy comedies and intense dramas. He received critical acclaim for his physical transformation and emotional depth in films like The Iron Claw, and endeared himself to new audiences with his travel and sustainability documentary series, Down to Earth with Zac Efron. As of 2026, at the age of 38, Zac Efron remains a vital and versatile force in the entertainment industry, having successfully navigated the treacherous path from child star to seasoned Hollywood veteran. Mark Harmon as Leroy Jethro Gibbs. Born on September 2, 1951, in Burbank, California, the son of a football legend and an artist carved out his own path before landing the role that would define his career. At the age of 52, Harmon debuted as the stoic and authoritative special agent Leroy Jethro Gibbs, a character introduced in JAG before anchoring NCIS for nearly 2 decades. His portrayal of the silver-haired coffee-dependent team leader provided the show with its moral center, helping it become one of the most watched dramas in the world, and cementing his status as a television icon. Unlike the often abrasive and emotionally guarded Gibbs, Mark Harmon was widely regarded as a gentleman on set, known for his collaborative spirit and dedication to the cast and crew. The burden of leading such a massive production for 19 seasons brought its own set of professional hurdles, including the physical toll of the schedule and the challenge of keeping the narrative fresh amidst changing cast dynamics. He navigated the rare struggle of being the face of a global franchise while maintaining a deeply private personal life, deliberately stepping back from the limelight to protect his family from the intrusion that often accompanies such immense fame. Since departing the main cast of NCIS in 2021, he has maintained a creative connection to the franchise, serving as an executive producer and the narrator for the prequel series NCIS Origins. He also returned to the big screen, reprising his role in the long-awaited sequel to Freaky Friday, alongside Jamie Lee Curtis. As of 2026, at the age of 74, Mark Harmon enjoys a respected status in the industry and a quieter life with his wife Pam Dauber, having successfully transitioned from the daily grind of network television to a role that honors his legacy while allowing him new creative freedoms. Michael Weatherly as Anthony DiNozzo. Born on July 8, 1968 in New York City, the actor brought charisma and humor to the role of senior field agent Anthony DiNozzo. At the age of 35, Weatherly introduced audiences to the movie-quoting wisecracking agent in 2 JAG backdoor pilot episodes before becoming a central pillar of NCIS. For 13 seasons, his chemistry with his co-stars and his character's evolution from a frat-boyish investigator to a seasoned leader made him a fan favorite, providing essential comedic relief amidst the show's dark procedural elements. While DiNozzo was often portrayed as a carefree bachelor with deep-seated commitment issues, Weatherly navigated a different path, balancing a dedicated family life with the demands of high-stakes network television. However, his career was not without significant turbulence. His transition to the legal drama Bull was marred by highly publicized allegations of workplace misconduct, resulting in a substantial settlement by the network. This period marked a difficult chapter in his professional life, contrasting the beloved heroic image of his NCIS character with the complex and controversial realities of his time as a series lead. Weatherly successfully helmed Bull for 6 seasons until 2022, proving his ability to carry a show, though the allure of his breakout role remained strong. He eventually delighted the fan base by reuniting with co-star Cote de Pablo to executive produce and star in the spin-off series NCIS Tony and Ziva, revisiting the characters that defined his early career. As of 2026, at the age of 58, Weatherly remains an active and influential figure in the television landscape, continuing to shape the legacy of Tony DiNozzo for a new generation of viewers. Pauley Perrette as Abby Sciuto. Born on March 27, 1969 in New Orleans, Louisiana, the actress originally studied criminal science and sociology before finding her path in entertainment. At the age of 34, Perrette debuted as the brilliant caffeine-addicted forensic scientist Abby Sciuto in NCIS. With her signature jet-black pigtails, goth aesthetic, and boundless enthusiasm, she became an instant cultural icon, challenging stereotypes about women in science. For 15 seasons, her portrayal provided the show's emotional heartbeat, balancing the grim nature of crime procedural work with a unique warmth and eccentricity that made her one of the most beloved characters in television history. While Perrette shared her character's genuine passion for forensics and alternative style, the camaraderie depicted on screen eventually belied a tense reality behind the scenes. Her departure from the series in 2018 was not the result of a typical contract end or cancellation, but rather a distressing workplace conflict. Perrette left the show amid allegations of physical assaults and safety concerns, specifically regarding a fallout with co-star Mark Harmon over his dog biting a crew member on set. This fractured professional relationship stood in stark contrast to the protective father-daughter dynamic their characters displayed, ultimately driving her to leave the franchise to ensure her own well-being. After leaving the naval drama, she briefly returned to television to star in the sitcom Broke in 2020. But following its cancellation, she announced her official retirement from acting. Her resilience was tested again in September 2021, when she suffered a massive stroke from which she made a grateful and vocal recovery. As of 2026, at the age of 57, Perrette remains retired from the screen, living a private life in Los Angeles, where she focuses on directing documentaries, writing music, and maintaining her long-standing commitment to civil rights activism and animal rescue. Abigail Breslin as Sandy Watson. Born on April 14, 1996 in New York City, this talented young performer was already making waves in the industry before landing her guest spot on the hit procedural NCIS. At the age of 8, Breslin took on the challenging role of Sandy Watson, a blind child prodigy pianist, and the kidnapped daughter of a naval captain in the Season 2 premiere titled See No Evil. Her performance was noted for its maturity and emotional depth, requiring her to act with a convincing sightless gaze while conveying high-stakes fear, a feat that foreshadowed the Academy Award nomination she would receive just 2 years later for Little Miss Sunshine. While the world fell in love with her as the quirky and innocent pageant, hopeful Olive Hoover Breslin faced the difficult reality of growing up in the spotlight and shedding the child star label. She had to work diligently to prove her range as an adult actress, often fighting against typecasting that sought to keep her in perpetual youth. Her personal journey was marked by significant emotional hurdles, including the public grieving of her father, whom she lost to COVID-19 in 2021, and her brave admission of being a survivor of domestic violence. These experiences transformed her into a vocal advocate for mental health and abuse survivors, contrasting the bubbly image of her early career with the grounded resilience of a woman who has weathered profound personal storms. Abigail Breslin successfully transitioned into a diverse career, starring in major hits like Zombieland and its sequel, the horror comedy series Scream Queens, and the crime drama Stillwater, alongside Matt Damon. She also garnered critical acclaim for her role in Miranda's Victim, further solidifying her status as a serious dramatic artist. As of 2026, at the age of 30, she continues to act in both film and television while balancing her life as a musician and wife, having married longtime partner Ira Kunyansky, proving that her early promise on NCIS was just the beginning of a lasting legacy. Wilmer Valderrama as Nick Torres. Born on January 30, 1980, in Miami, Florida, the actor spent his formative years in Venezuela before returning to the United States to pursue his dreams in entertainment. At the age of 36, Valderrama joined the cast of the long-running procedural NCIS as Special Agent Nicholas Torres, a charismatic but unpredictable undercover operative. His arrival in the show's 14th season injected new energy into the squad room as he portrayed a lone wolf learning to trust a team again, balancing physical intensity with emotional depth in a role that demanded a commanding screen presence. While Torres is a brooding, muscle-bound agent capable of lethal force, Valderrama was previously defined by a drastically different persona that cast a long shadow over his career. For years, he fought the heavy constraints of typecasting after playing the goofy, candy-loving Fez on That 70s Show. Industry decision-makers struggled to view him as a leading man or action star, forcing him to work twice as hard to reshape his public image through darker roles like the crime lord in From Dusk Till Dawn the series. Transforming his physique and demeanor for NCIS was a deliberate and challenging pivot to prove his range extended far beyond sitcom comedy. Wilmer Valderrama successfully cemented his place as a versatile dramatic actor and producer, expanding his influence beyond the screen into philanthropy and activism for the Latino community. He continued to champion diversity in Hollywood, securing deals to develop projects that highlight underrepresented voices, including a reimagining of the iconic Zorro franchise. As of 2026, at the age of 46, he remains a vital part of the entertainment landscape, balancing his ongoing commitment to the NCIS universe with his production company's slate of inclusive storytelling, while enjoying life as a dedicated father and partner. Sasha Alexander as Caitlin Todd. Born on May 17, 1973, in Los Angeles, California, the actress first gained attention on Dawson's Creek before stepping into the shoes of Special Agent Caitlin Todd. At the age of 30, Alexander joined the original cast of NCIS, portraying a former Secret Service agent whose sharp wit and by-the-book demeanor provided the perfect counterbalance to the chaotic energy of the major case response team. For 2 seasons, her chemistry with the cast helped launch the procedural into a global phenomenon, establishing Kate Todd as a beloved character whose moral compass guided the squad. While Kate Todd was defined by her duty and eventual tragic sacrifice, Sasha Alexander faced the very real challenge of managing the exhausting schedule required to produce a 24-episode network drama. Finding the physical and time demands unsustainable for the life she wanted to build, she made the difficult decision to ask to be written out of the show, prioritizing her well-being over the security of a hit series. This choice led to one of the most shocking moments in television history. Rather than a quiet exit, her character was abruptly killed in the Season 2 finale, a narrative twist that stunned audiences and left a lasting emotional impact on the series' mythology. Sasha Alexander moved forward to build a diverse and successful career, notably starring as Dr. Maura Isles in the popular and long-running series Rizzoli and Isles, which allowed her to explore a quirky intellectual role with a lighter schedule. She also took on recurring roles in Shameless and The Morning Show, while stepping behind the camera to direct episodes for various television projects. As of 2026, at the age of 52, she continues to work in Hollywood and enjoys a stable family life with her husband, director Eduardo Ponti, and their 2 children. Rocky Carroll as Leon Vance. Born on July 8, 1963, the Cincinnati native brought a distinct air of authority and mystery to NCIS when he joined the cast during its 5th season. At the age of 44, Carroll stepped into the shoes of Leon Vance, a character who quickly rose from assistant director to the director of the agency. His portrayal provided a necessary friction and eventual camaraderie with the established team, offering a grounded political savvy that contrasted sharply with the field agent's cowboy tactics. Over the years, his tooth-picking, poker-faced performance became a staple of the show, grounding the high-stakes drama with a sense of administrative realism and hidden depth. Unlike the stoic and often inscrutable director Vance, Rocky Carroll is known by his peers as a warm, humorous, and classically trained actor with a background in Shakespeare and comedic sitcoms like Rock. His journey on NCIS was not without its initial professional hurdles. He faced the significant challenge of replacing the popular director Jenny Shepard, entering the show as a potential antagonist to the beloved main characters. This dynamic initially drew the ire of protective fans, requiring Carroll to patiently and skillfully develop Vance's humanity over several seasons to transform him from a bureaucratic villain into a respected protective father figure within the agency. Beyond his on-screen duties, Carroll successfully pivoted to working behind the camera, establishing himself as a primary director for the NCIS franchise and guiding the narrative tone of numerous episodes across the main series and its various spin-offs. This evolution allowed him to leave a creative stamp on the procedural that extended far beyond his acting role. As of 2026, at the age of 62, he continues to be a revered presence in the television landscape, celebrating a nearly 2-decade tenure with the franchise that defined the latter half of his career while mentoring the next generation of industry talent. David McCallum as Dr. Donald Ducky Mallard. Born on September 19, 1933 in Glasgow, Scotland, the classically trained actor was already a global icon when he donned the bow tie for the CBS procedural. At the age of 70, McCallum reinvented himself for a new generation, bringing a gentle eccentricity and encyclopedic knowledge to the team's beloved medical examiner. His portrayal provided the show with its moral center and historical curiosity, turning a role that could have been purely functional into a warm, fatherly figure who spoke to the deceased with as much respect as he did the living. While Ducky was known for his loquacious nature and grandfatherly wisdom, McCallum's earlier life was defined by the mania of being a 1960s sex symbol. As the mysterious Ilya Kuryakin in The Man from UNKLE, he was mobbed by screaming fans and dubbed the Blonde Beetle, a level of fame that stood in sharp contrast to the quiet intellectualism he preferred in his private life. Escaping the long shadow of Kuryakin proved difficult, and he faced decades of typecasting, where producers struggled to see past his spy persona. His personal journey was also marked by profound tragedy, specifically the accidental death of his adopted son Jason in 1989, a heartbreak he carried with dignity while continuing to work. David McCallum remained a vital part of the NCIS family for 20 seasons, eventually transitioning his character from chief medical examiner to NCIS historian to accommodate his desire for a reduced schedule. He was the last remaining member of the original cast at the time of his passing, having dedicated the final chapter of his career to the role. McCallum died of natural causes at New York Presbyterian Hospital on September 25, 2023, just 6 days after celebrating his 90th birthday. Brian Dietzen as Jimmy Palmer. Born on November 14, 1977, in Barrington, Illinois, the actor joined the cast of the long-running procedural near the end of its first season. At the age of 26, Dietzen assumed the role of Jimmy Palmer, the enthusiastic but socially awkward assistant medical examiner who often rambled at inappropriate times. Originally intended to be a temporary replacement for a previous assistant character, his chemistry with David McCallum and the rest of the team turned a one-day guest spot into a defining career role. Over the years, he skillfully navigated Palmer's growth from a nervous novice into a confident chief medical examiner, providing a necessary warmth and optimism amidst the show's grim subject matter. Unlike the stumbling and physically uncoordinated character he played in the early seasons, Brian Dietzen is known for his intense physical fitness and articulate, focused demeanor off-screen. His professional journey was marked by a unique struggle for recognition. Despite appearing in almost every episode and being integral to the plot, he remained a recurring guest star for 9 years. It was not until the 10th season that he was finally promoted to the main cast and added to the opening credits, a delayed validation that required immense patience and dedication. Furthermore, he faced the creative challenge of evolving the character beyond comic relief, eventually writing episodes for the series to help deepen the emotional landscape of the show. Brian Dietzen successfully transitioned from a supporting player to one of the longest-serving veterans of the franchise, carrying the torch after the passing of original cast members. He stepped into the role of the show's moral anchor, mirroring the mentorship he received from his late co-star, David McCallum. As of 2026, at the age of 48, he remains a central figure in the NCIS universe, continuing to portray Dr. Jimmy Palmer while expanding his influence in Hollywood as a screenwriter and producer. Lauren Holly as Jenny Shepard. Born on October 28, 1963 in Bristol, Pennsylvania, the actress joined the cast during the 3rd season of NCIS to shake up the agency's leadership dynamic. At the age of 41, Holly stepped into the role of director Jenny Shepard, a tough and politically savvy administrator who shared a complicated romantic past with the show's lead agent. Her portrayal brought a serialized intensity to the procedural format, grounding the high-stakes investigations with personal vendettas and a tragic, memorable conclusion that redefined the stakes for the entire team. While Shepard was often guarded stern and entangled in bureaucratic maneuvering, Lauren Holly is known for her effervescent and humorous personality, requiring her to stifle her natural warmth to play the stoic director. Her departure from the series was a personal choice born from a desire to avoid boredom. She felt the character's arc was complete and wanted to explore diverse roles rather than remaining in a long-running procedural. This decision to prioritize creative challenges over the security of a massive network hit was a significant professional gamble, one that forced her to navigate the uncertainty of the industry after walking away from one of television's most coveted spots. Following her dramatic exit, she found success and a new home north of the border, becoming a Canadian citizen and starring in series like Motive and Tiny Pretty Things. As of 2026, at the age of 62, Lauren Holly remains an active and vibrant presence in television and film, recently engaging audiences in the legal drama Family Law. She resides in Canada with her 3 sons, maintaining a steady career that honors her legacy while embracing new narratives in the ever-evolving landscape of entertainment. Joe Spano as Tobias Fornell. Born on July 7, 1946 in San Francisco, California, the veteran actor brought a grounded gravitas to the role of FBI Special Agent Tobias Fornell in NCIS. At the age of 57, Spano introduced audiences to the sardonic, often frustrated federal agent who served as both a professional rival and the closest friend to Mark Harmon's Leroy Jethro Gibbs. What began as a guest spot in the series premiere evolved into the show's longest-running recurring role, where his chemistry with the lead became legendary, providing both comic relief and emotional depth through storylines involving shared ex-wives and personal tragedies. While Fornell was often depicted as a beleaguered bureaucrat dealing with a chaotic personal life and endless divorces, Joe Spano is a deeply disciplined stage actor with a passion for the theater. A founding member of the Berkeley Repertory Theater, his artistic sensibilities differed greatly from the straight-laced federal agent persona he inhabited on screen. Before finding a new generation of fans on NCIS, Spano faced the challenge of shedding the shadow of Henry Goldblum, the sensitive sergeant he famously played on Hill Street Blues for 7 years. Navigating the industry as a character actor meant fighting against typecasting, yet he successfully transitioned from the empathy of Goldblum to the cynicism of Fornell, proving his range despite the industry's tendency to pigeonhole television veterans. Joe Spano remained a vital part of the NCIS universe for over 2 decades, outlasting many original cast members and appearing in nearly every season of the procedural drama. Beyond television, he kept his roots firmly planted in the theater community, frequently performing on stage in California. His dedication to the craft allowed him to maintain a steady presence in Hollywood without succumbing to the fleeting nature of fame. As of 2026, at the age of 79, Spano continues to command respect in the industry, standing as a testament to career longevity and the enduring appeal of a well-crafted character. Cote de Pablo as Ziva David. Born on November 12, 1979, in Santiago, Chile, the actress moved to Miami at the age of 10, where she later pursued a career in the arts. At the age of 25, Cote de Pablo joined the cast of NCIS during its 3rd season, stepping into the formidable shoes of a previous lead to play Mossad officer Ziva David. Her portrayal of the lethal, dangerous, yet fiercely loyal liaison became an instant sensation, balancing intense physical combat skills with a compelling, slow-burning vulnerability. For 8 defining years, she crafted a character that became a role model for women in action television, famous for her mispronunciation of English idioms and her deadly proficiency with a knife. While Ziva David was a trained assassin with a guarded and stoic exterior, Cote de Pablo is known by her peers as warm, affectionate, and deeply rooted in a background of musical theater and singing. This sharp contrast often required her to restrain her natural exuberance to embody the disciplined soldier. Her tenure on the show was eventually marked by a difficult professional decision. In 2013, she abruptly left the series, a move that stunned fans and the network alike. For years, she remained private about her reasons, eventually revealing that she chose to walk away because she felt the proposed story arcs did not treat the character with the respect she deserved, choosing artistic integrity over a guaranteed paycheck. Her dedication to the character eventually led to a shocking and triumphant return to the franchise in 2019, providing closure to a storyline that had haunted viewers for years. This reappearance reignited the demand for her on-screen partnership with Michael Weatherly, leading to the development of the Paramount spin-off series NCIS Tony and Ziva, which took the characters across Europe. As of 2026, at the age of 46, Cote de Pablo has successfully transitioned from actor to executive producer, continuing to shape the legacy of the character that defined her career while enjoying a renewed era of global popularity. Muse Watson as Mike Franks. Born on July 20th, 1948 in Alexandria, Louisiana, the seasoned actor joined the recurring cast of NCIS to portray the rugged and rule-bending former agent. At the age of 57, Watson introduced audiences to Mike Franks, the gravel-voiced mentor to Leroy Jethro Gibbs, who affectionately called his protégé Proby. His portrayal provided a crucial backstory to the show's lead, embodying an old-school lawman ethic that prioritized justice over procedure. For several seasons, his presence was a comforting, albeit gruff, anchor in the series, making him a fan favorite despite not being in the main credits. While Mike Franks was defined by his chain-smoking habit and willingness to cross legal lines, Muse Watson is a classically trained stage actor with a gentle demeanor known for his educational advocacy. A major professional hurdle for Watson was shedding the menacing shadow of his most famous earlier role as the hook-wielding villain in I Know What You Did Last Summer, which risked typecasting him permanently as a silent antagonist. Unlike the cynical and solitary Franks, Watson is deeply dedicated to his family and is an outspoken advocate for autism awareness inspired by his daughter. His departure from NCIS was a significant emotional moment for fans. The decision to kill off his character in the 8th season, rather than allowing him to retire peacefully, was a dramatic conclusion that Watson handled with grace, though it permanently closed the door on the beloved mentor. Muse Watson remained active in the industry following his time on the hit procedural balancing film roles with television appearances and fan conventions. He garnered significant acclaim for his role as Charles Westmoreland in the series Prison Break, further showcasing his range beyond horror villains and law enforcement types. He also starred in various independent projects and maintained a strong, grateful connection with his fan base through social media and personal appearances. As of 2026, at the age of 78, Watson continues to reside in Tennessee, with his family celebrating a long career that successfully transitioned him from a terrifying slasher antagonist to one of television's most respected father figures. For decades, the NCIS cast defined bravery, but behind the scenes, their lives were often more dramatic than any script. Seeing where they are now is a bittersweet reminder that even heroes eventually move on. Who was your ultimate favorite character from the original team? Tell us your choice in the comments, smash that like button and subscribe to keep the memories of this incredible show alive.